Okay, so I drive over there. His brother has a 45-minute drive. I'm there for 20 minutes, parked kind of far away, but I can see the entrance, and I'm talking to his mom, and we're on the same team. I love his mother because it's his mother. She's why he exists. It's not a mutual love, we'll put it that way. She was grateful for a whole whopping goddamn night, right? Because I assume she realized at that time that I cared about him. I loved him. I still do. So we're talking and we're talking, and she's like, well, I hope he doesn't, like, I hope he doesn't try to, do anything. I don't fucking know, right? I give his brother the key, and then I leave, I think. I'm driving back to my grandmother's, and I get a call from his mom, freaking out. She's already called the police. Apparently, my ex tried to attack his brother, and his brother was holding him down, waiting for the police. Could I go unlock the doors so the police could get in, or point them? Because they're pretty much abandoned at this point. I was like one of the only people that was still fiddling around with my house. Most people were not living in these flooded houses. Um, so I go back. Yeah. And I open the door, and I'm standing at the bottom of the stairs, and I hear them talking. And I don't know what I'm gonna walk into, and his mom is really fucking nervous and fretting, and she's already called the police though, and to do like a welfare check because he's fucking acting crazy. He's acting goddamn crazy. He'd been acting goddamn crazy. I walk up the steps. I mean, it takes me a minute. I'm fucking scared. It probably takes me 10 minutes. I'm not proud of that. To talk myself into walking in there. I open the door, I peek in, I see that his brother is on top of him, holding him down on the ground. In the same spot. Uh, they're on the same exact fucking spot on the floor that my ex held me down when he made me recite all those things about myself, and when he was whipping me and slapping me. And he put the cigarette out in my teeth, but the cigarette he put out in my teeth was across the room. But anyway, his brother's holding him down, and he's like, "Oh, you're here now." My ex is a clever guy. Even even in mania, he's clever. So he starts insulting me in his clever way, and I'm just like, "We're just trying to help you." And I'm like, I take the axe, I hide the axe in case he breaks free. Um, I go check the pill stash because I was careful. I made sure that like, I didn't have any pills in my purse whenever I would go bring him supplies. He still had the same fucking 2 Adderall that I'd given him days ago, right? He didn't take them. He still had the fucking Valium. He had a Valium and like a half a Valium. So he hadn't taken those. There were no more like empty alcohol beverages anywhere. This is all him. There was like a fucking joint worth of pot uh, that had been smoked on a little bit. And so I'm hiding all that shit because cops are going to show up, and I'm just like surveying, and then I'm just like, I have to get closer, and because his brother's really struggling. His brother's 3 times his size, but my ex was very strong. And so I have to kind of hold him too. And he's telling us how when he gets free, he's going to kill us, and he's going to kill his whole family. He's going to kill his dad. His dad is dead. His dad's been dead a few months at this point. He just wasn't there. At one point, he told me the second he gets free, he's going to rip out my cunt with his teeth. he's pissed. And he's talking about how fat I am. Just, he says his brother's trying to fuck him. He just says a lot of stupid shit. He's confident that he's gonna be set free when the cops show up because it's his address. He's at his own address and his brother's on top of him and his brother's going to jail. Then the fattest me, that I go to jail for helping him and all this shit. Anyway, the cops finally show up and they put me and his brother in handcuffs. And at no point did they handcuff him because his address was on the fucking driver's license. We told them what was up. His brother was indignant. His brother was like, well, I want to press charges. He attacked me. And they were like, you were on top of him? And this is his house. They were under the impression he was just drunk, so they advised him not to leave. Don't leave, they said. They were supposedly going to like watch for a minute, right? His brother wants to press charges. There's nothing you can do, and he's like, well, what if it had been my mother or my sister, or what if it had been her? And I just snickered, because you motherfucker. I had been on that same spot on the floor, only I had been under my boyfriend, right? And the whole time I thought that motherfucker, his brother, was going to come and save the day, because I had contacted him right before shit hit the fan. Whatever. And his brother starts singing like a bird. Why? It's got to be drugs, you know. He hangs out with this guy named blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh my god, nothing comes of that. We all leave. I go to my grandmother's. I'm telling my grandmother what happened. She's all, juicy. She wants to hear it. And then my grandmother goes to bed. And I'm like brushing my teeth or something. And I hear yelling outside. It's like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. It sounds like my ex. And I open the balcony door and I hear the F word. Fuck this fucking you F word, and I'm gonna fucking kill you, and come on, fatty, where you at? And he's screaming. Oh, and I'm like, I say his name, and then I shut the door, and I'm like, what do I do? On the way home to my grandmother's, I had called his mom, and she said, well, I hope he doesn't come over there and try to get you. And I was like, I scoffed. I didn't see that happening at all. And sure enough, he's at my grandmother's, screaming at her neighbor. I don't know what to do. I call 911. I'm fucking scared to death that I'm like, he doesn't have a weapon. I tell him exactly what he's wearing. I said he's not well right now. He wants to kill himself. Because it had been a couple people, my grandmother and I think his mother at this point had suggested maybe he'll try to make somebody hurt him, kill him, whatever. I don't like to say that. Fuck. So, I call 911. I tell them what he's wearing and that he's not well and blah, blah, blah. My cat hears him. My cat is excited because that's his daddy. And then my cat pisses himself because my ex is, I thought he was going to break through my grandmother's fancy, thick glass door. He was just and my cat was just stopped in his tracks and peed himself. Ran peed. So anyway, finally the cops show up. First, my grandmother gets out. She's like, Amber, mm-hmm. I think your so and so's here. I'm like, yeah, he is. I've already called 911. Please, please, just I got it. She gets her sawed-off shotgun and she's insistent on coming downstairs. And they have a little conversation through the glass. I really thought she was going to shoot him. He was threatening to kill her. He was threatening to kill me. He was threatening to kill the neighbor. Then he sits down. He gets his phone out and so the cops show up. Everybody thought that I had let him in because she has a gate, this iron gate. It's really tall. He climbed it. I didn't let him. When I went downstairs to investigate, I opened the garage door and then I immediately was like, what the fuck am I doing? You know, and I shut it again, but he had already climbed over the iron gate, so he didn't have time to. I'm like, this isn't happening. It's happening. It's fucking happening. So loud. It's happening. And this is the rich people part of town, the real rich people part of town. So the cops show up fairly quickly. And there was just this really cool cop, and he listened to me, and he gave a shit. And I told him the situation, and I told him he wasn't well, and I told him he made me promise. He made me promise if anybody ever put their hands on me again, I would call the police, because he's like, you know, has he ever? Yes, fuck, he has. Did you report it? No, I didn't handle it right. That cop told me the reason he became a cop is because he lost his whole family to domestic violence. If something happened, and he lost his whole family. That's why he became a police officer. He was a really handsome young black man. And he listened to me. Everybody else was just, they were just doing their job, but he like was looking deep into my eyes, making me promise that I would look out for myself in the future. And he's like, you know, even if you don't think it's going to do anything, it starts a paper trail to protect you and all this shit. I don't know. But I'm like, he didn't just give a shit about me, he gave a shit about him. When I told him he's not well, he needs help. He needs help. So I was able to, because that guy listened to me and gave a shit about us, I was able to get my ex-boyfriend not arrested, and they instead took him to the psychiatric unit. And I was so excited, in a fucked up way. I was so excited, I thought, this is it. This is the help he needs. It's really hard to get someone against their will in a situation like that, mental help. He was going to be there a minimum of 3 days, right? At least. So his mother flew to town and pulls him out early. Part 3.